Hey, Skullbells TV, who wants some ice cream? I feel like that's a rhetorical question. So, this is not something that we do every day, but it is definitely a treat that my kids and I enjoy a couple times a week. Most of my clients on contest prep have little to no carbohydrates in their diet, so this is my favorite way and what I've been teaching in terms of a cheap, simple, low carb, bodybuilder friendly ice cream recipe for when those sweet cravings hit, but you're not going to slack on your diet because you're a champion. So let's get it started. Your serving size, we're gonna be just making 4 of these bad boys today. Your ingredients, number 1 is going to be a whey protein isolate. And so for this recipe, we are using 2 scoops or 60 grams. The only protein powder that we ever use in this house is the good old classic award-winning metabolic nutrition protein powder. It's got 1 gram of carbs. It's got no fiber in it, which is actually one of my favorite parts about it. That's a conversation for another day. Listen to Carnivore Coaches Corner for more on that. It's got 1 gram of fat, and it's got 26 grams of protein. So with those macro ratios, that gives you like a lot of wiggle room to add whatever fats that you want to it. My favorites are raw egg yolks and heavy cream. Yeah, I know Arnold Schwarzenegger made that combo famous, and this is definitely my keto modification to that. So this protein powder is made in the USA. I think that it's the best tasting on the market. We use the chocolate cupcake flavor. That's the one that we're going to be using in the video. Our best sellers are definitely that, and peanut butter cookie is probably the other one that we sell the most of. Also, we are putting there's a heavy dose of potassium and magnesium in it. The pure pharma grade amino acid complex. This is a really cool ingredient. It has L-leucine, which is the most anabolic of all the amino acids. And it's listed first within the ingredients of the complex, so you know that gives you a good dose. L-glutamine, that's something that I always go heavy on when my protein dips below 200 grams to assist in muscle recovery. And I'm at 190 grams of protein a day right now, and 240 grams of fat. So I'm 14 weeks out from my next show, and I have most of my athletes on diets that are consisting of higher fat than protein, ideally, especially if they're cutting. And whenever your prep requires you to dip below your body weight in grams of protein per pounds of body weight, then it's a good time. That's usually a good time to start supplementing things like BCAAs and glutamine, in my opinion. So that's how I do it. It's sweet enough on its own, in my opinion, too, without having to add additional sweeteners. You can totally add sweeteners like monk fruit or something like that if you want, and I will not tell the carnivore police, I promise. The protein powder is sweetened with sucralose. I'm not a fan of any artificial sweetener in terms of like how it responds in your gut and everything per se, but sucralose is just one in particular that I don't seem to have any issues with. And so if you don't have any issues with sucralose, then you should do just fine on this protein powder. Heavy cream, that's our next ingredient. For this recipe, we're going to be using 12 fluid ounces of that. Heavy cream is a pretty underrated fat source, in my opinion. I don't do well on anything dairy personally, which is typical of a lot of people, right? But specifically hard cheeses, because those really slow down my digestion. But for some reason, I do really well on heavy cream, and so do most of my clients. Probably because it's mostly liquid. That's just my speculation. I assume that's why it digests easier. It's also 0 carb compared to milk. So there's nothing unhealthy about heavy cream, so don't let anybody tell you that there is. It's satisfying, and it actually really helps with killing sugar cravings so that you don't go overboard on it either. And it keeps those blood sugar levels, those blood sugar levels really, really stable. Duck eggs. For this recipe, we're going to be using 4 duck eggs. You can use chicken eggs too, of course. We've been talking a lot about duck eggs on the podcast and on past YouTube videos. Obviously, they are free. So that's kind of why we're using a lot of them at the moment. My parents have duck eggs, and so we totally got the hook up there. Chicken eggs are good, but duck eggs taste way better and have more nutritional value too. So see if you can make friends with someone who has duck eggs and trade something. That's how you do it if you're a carnivore, right? It pays to have really good friends. I write workout plans. I help out local. I've been helping out local friends with like physical therapy and stuff who hook us up with meat. So get creative, ask around. Like I said, pays to have friends. Okay, so our secret ingredient is going to be beef gelatin, actually. This is a performance ingredient that I add for collagen, for skin health, and it also adds bulk and texture. We're going to be using 4 ounces of this. It doesn't taste that bad, but it's not the flavor that we're going for here. But it doesn't taste that bad on its own either. It's actually pretty good, I think. But blend it up and blend it up good into this, and you won't even taste it. So the best part about it is that this is free, or at least it should be for most people, especially if you're on the carnivore diet, because we go through lots of ground beef in this house, and it's a byproduct of that. So it's really simple. All of the drippings from your beef, once those separate, you're going to have something hard on the top, and you're going to have something that's soft, like a jello texture on the bottom, right? So the solid texture on the top, that's your tallow. Both of these are really high in choline, and so that's one of my favorite things about it. And you can get gravy and all kinds of stuff. You can make gravy with it. You can make all kinds of stuff with that. You can even make skincare with this stuff. Jello, so the gelatin. This is just like straight protein, and it's also like nice and voluminous, so it adds like more bulk to the ice cream. It's what they use to make Jello. So why would you throw away something so nutritious when you could just sneak it into a tasty treat like this, right? Okay, so our topping of choice, being on contest prep, I'm keeping the carbs pretty low. So we make it with, I'm keeping the contest prep pretty low. So when we make it with the kids, I tell them that they get the green light on strawberries, like basically whatever they want. Our kids eat relatively low carb most of the time. There is a time and a place to have sugar, and I want them growing up knowing that that's okay for them to be doing that and to eat sugar from time to time as a treat on special occasions, whatever. Daddy-daughter dates, okay, great. There's a time and a place for that, but it's still damaging to their growing and developing bodies. So they get the green light on anything that's meat-based or something with quality ingredients like keto bricks. And there's endless ways for parents to keep their kids' food fun and entertaining without sacrificing their health. But is there a time and a place to have some fun? Yeah, of course. Okay, so that being said, I'm always topping my ice cream off with keto bricks. Sometimes I'll mix them in. My favorite thing to do is really just to chop them up with my buck knife, which is always razor sharp for any giant buck that might just like try to jump in through my window and I don't know, like come kill us or something. My favorite flavor combos are mocha. It's just bomb. I don't know. I think the mocha flavor tastes great on everything. It's kind of my favorite brick overall at the moment. The Bell's brownie batter, can't go wrong with that one. And then their new banana muffin brick is totally bomb combined with strawberries. That's a good combo. It's like a strawberry banana shortcake or something. So at this point in my prep, I'm eating half a brick a day in terms of keto bricks. After a couple weeks, it'll probably turn into like a quarter of a brick. My favorite thing about this recipe is how how easy it is to change the macros depending on what your goals are with your physique. So it's super flexible in that way. Last but certainly not least, the salt. Of course, you know I was going to say that, but you cannot forget the salt, and only natural sea salts, of course. So your instructions is going to be first to pour and blend up your heavy cream. We don't have an ice cream maker, a machine or anything, and so we just alternate between a small electric whisk that we got off of Amazon and an egg beater, and that seems to get the job done just fine. Step number 2 is we add in the egg yolks and the whites too. We leave the whites in there. If you're like further into your prep and you're trying to like, you know, kind of keep protein lower and make it as fatty as possible, then definitely just keep the yolks in there. But I don't like any of it going to waste. And so we get our hands dirty here. I like to break them up before getting back to the blenders. And then the duck egg yolks are a little tougher than chicken eggs. So if you are using these, it might take a little bit longer. Step number 3 is to add the protein powder in while you're stirring so it doesn't clump up. This is where teamwork is really helpful. My beautiful 4-year-old assistant holds it still and keeps and definitely helps give me a hand here. Number 4, the taste test. This is mandatory. You know it is. She helps me with this as well. Step number 5, we store them in glass containers so that we don't like get cancer or anything, because that's what people say happens if you use plastic containers. I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt one. Okay, sure. We stack them up in the freezer. When I add half of a keto brick, I know that combined with one of these containers has exactly 38.5 grams of protein. It has 7.8 grams of carbs, and it has 82.2 grams of fat. So that's perfect for me because that's enough to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, but it's not too much to cause an insulin spike. So it's perfect post-workout, so that if I still have like lots of stuff to do the rest of the day and want to have long-lasting sustained energy throughout the day, then I know that I can do that and I'm not going to have a sugar crash. It's great a couple hours before a workout too, when I'm in ketosis and I want to stay in ketosis, and for whatever reason I have to train later in the day because I wasn't able to do it earlier in the day, then that's a super helpful time to do it. So I can get fueled up with some quality fats and some sodium, some potassium, and go crush a good workout, and then we can add that one to the books. So your ice cream should be good and frozen a couple of hours later. I hope it is. In my non-culinary professional experience, that does the trick. And as long as you pull it out and you finish it within 20 minutes, which shouldn't be hard to do because these are pretty good. It seems to hold its texture, and it seems to be as good as any keto ice cream that I've ever had from the store. So anyway, share it with a friend if you found it helpful, and we'll catch you later right here. I don't know, probably a couple days. We'll come up with something cool to talk about. Going to teach you how to eat, how to train for the best physique that you've ever had. Right? God bless. Catch you right here.